G'day, g'day, Rob or Blurred here, Outback-Vaping, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, I've got asked to do a quick video, well, might not be a quick video, I've got a few here to do. A video on rewrapping your batteries, something that every vapor should learn, every vapor should know how to do. Check your wraps, look for nicks, tears, dings, dents, everything else. Make sure they're in usable, safe condition. I've got a few here that need to be redone. They've gotten a bit daggy. I've neglected doing them for a while just because I'm slack, and time to get them back into circulation again, I guess. So yeah, I'm going to wrap a few, show you how to do it, explain a couple of other ways of doing it. But yeah, let's get into it. Basically, there's three heat sources you can use for starters. Heat gun, which can get really fucking hot really quick and be a bit of a pain in the ass. Second one is a lighter, which I don't recommend using a lighter because quite often you're going to melt almost as many wraps as you get on. And the third one, which is my favourite, is still the wife's hairdryer. If you can't steal the wife's hairdryer, you can go down to Cheapest Chips or somewhere like that, buy a cheap one for about 10-15 bucks. So nice and easily done. So as you can see, a bit of a tear on the bottom of that one. This one here, I can actually, I don't know if it's going to pick it up, but nah, can't quite see it. But just up in here on the seam, I might be able to if I can get this bastard to focus. Just there, there's tiniest little nick, which I can see silver through. So another one, and which one is it? Here we go. Old dirty bastard wrap. You can actually see that shiny bit right there. And that was me drunk, trying to put it into a mod. Rammed it up against the thread. And yeah. Anyway, there's a couple of things you will need to be able to do this. As I said, one is a heat source. Two is a pair of ceramic pliers, whether it's this style or this style, doesn't really matter. This is just to help remove the wrap a bit more safely. You can remove the wrap with a screwdriver. Don't recommend it, but I will go over how to do that safely, or safer. Another thing you're going to want to do, try to make sure you've got no rings or anything on your fingers. You don't want to make a connection with the top of the battery, which will cause it basically to run a current through the ring. I know a couple of people now that have had an incident. Excuse me. They haven't vented the battery, but that ring will get hot very, very quickly, especially if it's made out of gold or something like that. So I'll have a quick vape, grab the hairdryer, we'll strip a battery back, and I'll show you how I go about it, and everything else. So alright, first one I'm going to wrap, actually we'll leave that one for last. First one I'm going to wrap is 21700. So you can see the little white thing under here, that's your insulator. You do want to keep hold of these. If your insulator's buggered, you can get more of them. eBay, some vape stores, etc, etc. Just type it in, you'll find it. Look for battery insulator, and that should pop up for you. So the way I like to do it is start at the negative end, so positive, negative. I like to go from the negative end, just stick the end of it up and underneath like that. Then you should be able to grab it and tear it off. As I said, make sure you keep hold of the insulator on top. Now this insulator's still sitting there quite nicely, but that comes off quite easily. Have a look for any corrosion, anything else. Now I've got a bit of juice that's built up in here. So one other thing you'll want is one of these Scotch-Brite or scouring pad type things. Non-metal, preferably. Well, non-metal, otherwise you're going to end up with hot fingers very bloody quickly. Just give that a bit of a clean out. Make sure it's not the battery itself that's corroding. As I said, this here's got a bit of juice and powder and that's built, juice that's gotten in there and dried out a bit. So we'll give that a bit of a clean up, just to get rid of any excess. Like to give me contacts a bit of a scrub at the same time. As you can see, that's a lot neater, a lot cleaner already. Then I like to inspect the outside of my battery, just to make sure there's nothing on the outside. Get a little bit of leftover wrap and stuff. Just give it a bit of a clean. Make sure there's no corrosion, dents, or anything else. There we go, bit of a buff up. And you see, looking nice and clean. All clean contacts, everything else. Outside of the battery's looking good. I can't see any major rust spots or anything else. So that's a bonus. No corrosion, no nothing else. Alright, so now get your insulator. Any gunk that's built up on that, once again, got another cloth here. Just give it a quick wipe over. Nice and clean. Now, what I like to do is, a lot of these, they sort of flex one way. As you can see, it's sort of got a bit of a dome to it. When I put them back on, I actually like to flip it. So it's curved that way. Instead of putting it back on the way it originally came off, I like to flip it. And it seems to, I don't know, this is personal preference, but it seems to just hold that wrap a little bit higher up and keep it in a little bit better condition. So, today I'm going with a ODB. No, sorry, this one's not an ODB. Going with a minion wrap today on this one. I do have an ODB to go on. The other one is identical. So this is a Samsung 40T. Now, because I like to use these in my pulse, they go positive down. So I want the pitcher up the right way. So I'll be putting it on upside down basically. Oh, there you go. I was wrong. Do apologise for that. Hang on. I dropped the contact. Sorry, that's an 18650 wrap. I'll have to grab another one of these other ones out after. 21700 wrap, old dirty bastard. Grab the wrong wrap. You do have specific wraps for 18650s and 21700s. Once again, as I said, I like to have them up that way, like up the right way, so I'll be putting it on upside down. I found, give it a little with your fingers. This is probably the hardest part, honestly, is just getting it on in the first place. Especially if you've got chunky fingers. Separated. Give it a little squeeze on where the folds are. Help to hold it open. Slide it over. Now, I like to make sure there's an even amount of spacing on the top and on the bottom. Once this folds over on the top, that'll help to hold that in place. All right, as I said, one of the main things you'll need is a heat source. And as I said, I like to pinch the wife's hairdryer. When I do it, start back a little bit, just until you see the end starting to curl over like that. Give it a turn. So that will start to hold the insulator in place, and then I like to come from the top, like so. Till you get to about halfway down the battery. Flip it over, and then from the middle up. Now, get that heat into it. Keep moving it. Give it another flip. Other end. Shut her off, and there we go. A nice freshly wrapped 21700. As I said, I've wrapped this so the pitcher's upside down, and that way when it goes in back in the mod, the pitcher will be up the right way. So that's how I do that. Just to show you how quick and easy it is, and a few of the other little nicks I've got. As I said, in this one, I've got this on the edge here, starting to go. Sorry, this one here, see it's starting to crack just there on the edge. That's enough. You put that in the wrong thing, it makes a connection, you're going to end up in trouble. So what I'll do with this one is I'll show you the other way. As I said before, you can do it with a screwdriver, a metal screwdriver, if that's all you have. You don't have ceramic tweezers or something like that. But come from the negative end only. Never come from the positive end, otherwise you're going to end up arcing the battery. So come from the negative end, because that won't do anything. You're only touching the negative connection, no chance of touching the positive / negative. Oh, got a bit of thunder going. Once again, just push it out the side, give a bit of a tear. Then you should be able to peel it off nicely. If you peel down and on an angle. Keep going around, going around, going around. Like so. The wrap, the insulator. So these are insulators I've had to replace in the past because the other ones I had been damaged. So you damage an insulator, make sure you replace it. Lose an insulator, make sure you replace it. Now this one is a lot cleaner, as I only use this in a regulated device. So once again, there's a couple little spots on the bottom. So I'll just give that a quick clean up, make sure it looks good. Get rid of any daggy bits. Outside of the battery itself, in general, I like to give them all a quick wipe over, even if there's nothing there, just to be on the safe side. Clean them contacts up again, but that one's really good condition, rip roaring, ready to go. Once again, you can sort of see how it's been sitting on there for a while. There's this slight dome shape to it, so I like to flip it over and I'll put it on that way. Alright, this time I got these. Slight pinch and twist, help to open it up, like so, and then push on the folds, slide the battery in, insulator on top. Try to get roughly even spacing, like so, like so. Hold it top and bottom. Heat source. Oh. Now the Weiss hairdryer has a tendency to do this sometimes. It won't turn back on. Hang on. It gets warm and it doesn't like to turn back on when it's warm. So I do need a new hairdryer. We'll just give it a second. Might be able to go. No. It won't even let me do cool air at the moment. Hang on. Well, bugging me. It won't turn back on. Give it a few minutes. I'll have another drink and another vape. While I'm at it, I'll get a couple more ready. So, but as I said, I prefer to use my ceramic tweezers just to be on the safe side. This is the one with the split up the top. Even with ceramic tweezers, you notice I come from the negative end. Pop, grab that. These are actually quite decent thick wraps. So I usually find it a lot easier if I have them all lined out, ready to go anyway, so I can just go from one to the other. So grab, pinch, like that. This one is absolutely spotless, so we'll just do that quickly. It's another one ready to go. This one, once again, has a slight split just there. You might be able to see it. Focus, you bastard. See, there's slight change in colour just there. Tiniest little split. It is over the top of the insulator, but wouldn't risk it. And there you go. I just went to go and pop that off, put a bit of pressure on the side. And what's happening is the wrap's been on there that long, it's starting to get a bit dry and brittle. So if you notice that happening, it's also another good time to change your batteries. Well, not change your batteries, but change your wrap. Places you can get wraps, vape shops, online. I actually get my wraps from eBay, apart from a couple of the old dirty bastards. But I brought mine in a kit like that. I think there was about 250 battery wraps, and it only cost me about 15 bucks. So once again, give her a clean up. Just like so. This just makes sure that you get a nice contact and everything's working fine when you do it again. And as I said, just keep an eye out for any dents, dings. Corrosion is another one. Twist, finger, squeeze, slot it in, even spacing, ready to go. We'll do one more, and that way I've got all 4 of these. I use these ones in my Laismo, which is a quad battery, so may as well get all 4 done and out the way in one foul swoop. And here we go. This one here's obviously had a bit of juice on it at some point. It's gotten in and under the wrap. And you see a little bit of discoloration. If that discoloration is forming any sort of pitting or anything like that, I wouldn't recommend continuing to use it. It could form it could be a weak spot in the battery. But if it is basically just surface colouring like this, as you can see, quick buff cleans it up. So we'll just give that a quick clean up. And whenever you're dealing with batteries, you should be checking your wrap every single time you take them in, or put them out, take them out, put them in, take them out, whatever you're doing. Just keep a constant eye on your batteries. These are what are going to let you down. This is what's going to cause an accident more than most other situations. You know, you won't notice there's a nick or a tear in it. You put it in there, it's going to cause a hard short, and off you go, you're in trouble. So in, line it up, done. So I've got all 4 of them rip roaring ready to go. Hair dryer's ready to go. Sit that down for a sec. Insulator on top, finger top and bottom. Start from the top, work your way down. Flip from the middle, work your way up. Now if you get a bit of a wrinkle or lump in it, you might have to hold it over that for a little bit longer. But I found doing this method usually don't get much of a problem with that. There's that one done. I'll show you how quick you can actually knock these out. Lined up, hold it back, starting to curl over, starting to curl over. There we go, from the top, go around. Flip from the middle. I'm pretty fussy, I don't like to have any creases or lumps in mine. You will end up with the join crease in the wrap. Basically the stuff is heat shrink. It works exactly the same. And I have actually found that these cheap battery wraps are thicker than the expensive ones that I've bought from the shop in the past. So got to take that in consideration. You can double wrap, but please be aware if you do double wrap a battery that there are going to be some mods that it's a tight fit or may not even fit in at all. I have a couple here that I cannot double wrap, otherwise it will not fit. But where possible, there is nothing wrong with double wrapping your battery. So putting another wrap over the top of this one. If you do that, I do recommend using two different colours. So once the outside wrap's damaged, you can tell the difference between the two. And once the underneath's exposed, it'll show through the other one. Last but not least, one more. Line that up again. See how that's lifting a little bit? Just turn it around a bit, hold it back down. There we go. Nice, quick, easy. Back over. And there we are. That's 4 beautifully wrapped batteries. Just a little bit of the insulator's exposed. Covered all the corners. Yes, I do have a couple of slightest little indentations on the bottom of these batteries, but that's because the door can get quite tight on the mod that I use it in. So, and also have this freshly wrapped, beautiful 21700, just as good as shop brought now. And once again, on this one I still got to wrap. See the little bit of white coming through just there? That's the insulator coming through, right on the corner. And that was from me dropping it. It hasn't actually dented the battery, as you can see, but it did scuff and make the wrap quite, it's got like somebody's hit it with sandpaper. So this one here will be up next for a good wrap, as well as this little bugger. So that's how you wrap your batteries. It's quick, it's easy, it's something that everybody should learn how to do. Get onto it. If you have never wrapped a battery before, don't be scared. You might stuff up the first one or two. Once you get it down pat, you can knock them out one after the other, no hassles. All right, once again, Rob or Blurt, have a bloody ripper day. I'm going to leave you with a quick drink and a quick puff. Scratch your crater and have a bloody ripper day.